I guess it's 1 o'clock now. About 1 minute to 1 or 1 o'clock. Anyway, whatever the time is, it is time for verses and paragraphs and everything in between. Good afternoon and welcome to today's show. It is the 4th of April 2018 and I'm transmitting live from Lagos. Now, today is going to be a very hot day, as in temperature hot, because as we all know, as is common in Nigeria, when you need power, you don't get power. Now what happened today was that, the generator was on, and while the generator was on, NEPA brought back lights. NEPA, that's Nigerian Electricity Board, they have different names. They brought back light. I wanted to hang on a bit, but I said, no, I can enjoy today's broadcast with the air conditioning. And so I put off the generator. Hello. I was watching from Edinburgh. I'm just talking about my predicament that I thought I was going to broadcast today with NEPA. And then just at the right moment, so to speak, NEPA takes lights. Well, taking light is not actually the challenge. The challenge is the generator. For some strange reason, you have to tug it. The rope has jammed and I cannot pull it, and there's nobody in the house to pull it. So today, like I say, is going to be a very hot one, as in temperature hot. Now, all morning I've been advertising today's broadcast, and it's amazing people's reactions, and I've been having a very good laugh. I've been cachinating. Cachinating means to laugh loudly. I put up a post saying that I'm asking a question: do you speak backwards or do you read backwards and forwards? And responses from people have been hilarious. Somebody says, mouth is in front. Which one is talking backwards now? Another one says, okay, I am in front of your back. And I've been having a very good laugh today. Now, the reason why I put up those posts and talking about whether you speak backwards or forwards, or whether you read forwards or backwards, is because today we're going to be talking about palindromes. Now, a palindrome is a word, phrase, number, or sequence of words that reads the same backwards as forwards. Now, you can write a sentence and punctuate it, and it can read the same backwards, as long as you put punctuation and spaces between the words or lettering, and it is also allowed. So today we're talking about palindromes. Palindromes are words. Great, we're back on. I don't know now, my network is poor. Anyway, we're talking about the fact that today we're going to be talking about palindromes. It's spelled let's see, do I have it up right? Palindrome. Palindrome. And a palindrome is a word or phrase which you can read, which reads the same way backwards and forwards. What does that even mean, forward and backwards? Okay, now I'll give you an example. The longest single word palindrome in the English language, according to the Oxford English Dictionary, is the onomatopoeic tat, coined by James Joyce in his poem Ulysses, and it means a knock on the door. Now, when you say a word reads the same forward and backward, I'll give you an example, like the word Anna, the name Anna. The way you spell it, A-N-N-A, when you spell it backwards, it's the same. It's spelled the same way. So that is a palindrome. A palindrome spells the same way forwards as in backwards. Do you understand that now? Eloho? A palindrome is a word which reads the same forward as the way backward. Like even the word wow, W-O-W, where if you want to spell it backwards, is W-O-W. So those are palindromes, and that's why I was asking the question all morning: do you speak forwards and backwards at the same time, or do you read forwards and backwards at the same time? James Akpoghene Sr., thanks for joining this broadcast. Today we're talking about palindromes. Now you have to bear with me because it's very hot here. I'm finding it difficult to put on the generator, so I'll be sweating a lot. It's very hot. I'm in Lagos and it's very, very hot. So today we're talking about palindromes. Palindromes is spelled Palindrome. I'll hold it up for you to see the word palindrome. Palindrome, Palindrome, and it refers to words, phrases, numbers, or sequence of words which read the same way forward as they read the same way backward. Now my sister Elo has been asking me, what does that even mean, forward and backward? It means that there are words which if you spell, if I gave an example, Anna, I'm going to be reading lots of examples. There are so many examples. Okay, it makes sense now, right? Like I'm going to be reading lots of words. For example, I've read the first word, Anna. If you spell Anna forwards the normal way, A-double-N-A, you spell it the same way. It is the same way if you are going to spell it backwards. And there are a host of palindromes in English language. So Anna is just one of them. We also have the word civic, C-I-V-I-C. If you spell it backwards, it's the same spelling, and that is a palindrome. Then you have the word kayak, like that small canoe. Remember last year in Lagos when it was flooded, one white man went kayaking, and I understand he even collected money if people wanted to kayak. So kayak is K-A-Y-A-K, kayak. Then there's the word level, L-E-V-E-L. If you spell it backwards, it is the same thing, level. Then we have madam, M-A-D-A-M. You spell it backwards, it spells the same way, M-A-D-A-M, madam. And then we have mom. All the moms, hello, you should love that one because I'm sure you're mom. Mom is spelled the same way, both forwards and backwards. Like I say, you have to bear with me today because I cannot pull the generator for me to enjoy fan this afternoon. Then dad also spells the same way, D-A-D. Now palindromes are so interesting that they may not necessarily be single words like the ones I'm reading now. They could be multiple word palindromes. And some of them, like, I'll get to that soon. But let me continue with the single word palindromes. You have noon as an afternoon, N-O-O-N. Race car. Race car, you spell it this way, you spell it the same way, it is the same. Then you have radar, R-A-D-A-R, radar. Then redder, as in the color, R-E-E-R. Refer, when you want to refer to something, R-E-F-E-R, refer. You spell the same way forwards as is the same as you spell it backwards. Then repaper is the same way. If you like, write them down now. You can see Joe, Jessimiel Ogbe, Pastor Joe, alias Joe Gibbs. Thank you. Thank you so much, Joe. Today we're talking about palindromes. Palindrome is spelled P-A-L-I-N-D-R-O-M-E. And palindromes, I'll hold it up for you, Joe Gibbs, just for you to see palindrome. A palindrome is a word that is spelled the same way forward as it's spelled the same way backwards. Dad, yes, that is a palindrome. So I've been giving examples, Joe Gibbs, and some of the examples I'll read them all over again, also for the benefit of those who are just joining in. Examples, you have the word Anna, A-double-N-A. If you spell it backwards, it's the same spelling. Civic, kayak, level, madam, mom, dad, noon, race car, radar, refer, rotator, rotor, sagas, solos, stats, tenet, wow, deified, minim, mandrum. All those words, they are spelled the same way forwards as they are backwards. Now I'm going to give you multiple word palindromes. Now these multiple word palindromes, even though, for instance, the first one is don't nod. Don't nod. Even though there are two different words, if you place all the words, letters together backwards, it reads the same thing, and you just have to add punctuation and spaces. Then I did I? It's the same way forward as it is backwards. My gym. Hello, you should enjoy that one now because you love going to the gym. My gym. If you write hello, write my gym, and then try and write it backwards, and then you put a space where you ought to put the space, and it reads the same thing forwards as it does backwards. Red rum, sir, is murder. Red rum, sir, is murder. Then step on no pets. Step on no pets. If you write step on no pets forward, try and write it backwards. They spell the same thing, and those are palindromes. Top spot. George Adebisi, you are welcome, George. You were the one who was asking that, okay, mouth is forward, how can you speak backward? Today we're talking about palindromes. And palindromes are words which are spelled, words, phrases, or sequence of words or numbers, which when you try and spell, you spell them forwards, and if you spell the same word backwards, they spell the same thing. And I've been reading. Okay. I'm sweating, Joe Gibbs, because the generator, the rope is too stiff. I tried to start the generator and I couldn't start the generator. NEPA deceived me. They came on a quarter, like about 20 minutes to 1, and I thought I was going to enjoy the air conditioning. So I put off the generator. Some other person has put, and the person has gone off to work. So I cannot pull the generator. I tried pulling it myself, but it's stiff, and that's why I'm sweating. Apologies for sweating, but it's Lagos, it's Nigeria. Anyway, like I said, we're talking about palindromes, and palindromes are words or phrases which spelled forwards also spell the same way backwards. And I've been reading a host of words like Anna, civic, level, refer, sagas, wow, mom, dad, all those words. Like even this our regular lol, laugh out loud, lol. And now I'm talking about multiple word palindromes. Now in multiple word palindromes, when you have, for instance, you have don't nod, and of course you have don't and nod. So if you want to spell it backward, you place the appropriate punctuation where you need to, or the appropriate space, and you still get the same thing spelled backwards as it is spelled forward. Was it a cat? Was it a cat saw? Eva, can I see bees in a cave? If you spell it backwards, it's the same way. No lemon, no melon. If you spell it backwards, it's the same thing. Borrow or rob. These are multiple word palindromes. Palindromes are words which are spelled the same way forwards as they are spelled backwards. Then, king. Are you glad you are king? That's interesting. Le Kuku, Michael Onilede, you're watching from Abuja, I guess. How are you? Good to have you on our show today. This is verses and paragraphs and everything in between. Now we talk everything that has to do with verses, paragraphs, everything in between. Today we are talking about palindromes. And palindromes are words which when you spell them one way, they are spelled around the same way. Okay, yes. Wow, I just said wow. Wow, yes, wow is a palindrome. And even that your lol that you have written Eloho is also a palindrome because you spell it the same way forwards as you spell it backwards. Then we're talking about multiple word palindromes. A knot for a jar of tuna. Now if you're going to write it back, you're going to place in that word tuna, you place a space. So you can now have a knot for a jar of tuna spelled the other way. Judith Orogun, welcome and good morning all the way from Ontario, Canada. I think I could borrow some of your cool air from Canada today because it's so hot here in Lagos, but that's not the issue. I cannot start the generator. Person who helped me start the generator has gone off to work. Good morning and a good hot afternoon. Today we're talking about palindromes, Judith. And palindromes, I'll hold up the word again. Let me see if I can. Yeah, palindromes. Oops. Palindromes are words which are spelled the same way forwards as they are spelled backwards. And these are palindromes. This is the spelling. Palindrome. And you can also Google it as we speak. Palindromes are words spelled the same way forwards as backwards. And I've been giving examples. And some of the examples include names. Okay, they are single word palindromes. And you have Anna, civic, kayak, level, madam. Madam is a palindrome because M-A-D-A-M. You spell it backwards, M-A-D-A-M. Mom, M-O-M. Spell it backwards, M-O-M. Dad, D-A-D, spell it backwards, D-A-D. So these are palindromes, and they are words which you use on a regular basis and you do not even know, like you refer someone R-E-F-E-R, it's a palindrome. Then there are also multiple word formations. This one maybe might not necessarily because you want to, maybe not that you use them in regular speaking, but there are words that they just come up. For instance, top spot. Okay, it's true. Hello. Essay is a palindrome. Come to think of it, E-S-E. Judith, you're my star student. Hello, please. I need some of your snow. And Judith, I need some of the cool air from Canada, because man, this thing, it is not funny at all. Then, a man, a plan, a canal, Panama. Mr. Owl ate my metal worm. Yes, essay is a palindrome. Was it a rat I saw? If you spell it backwards, then you have a palindrome. Never odd or even, and that is a palindrome. Then nurses run. If you spell it backwards, nurses run, and then you place the appropriate punctuation or spacing, you also have the same thing. Evil is a deed as I live. If you spell it backwards. Now I'd like to tell you the history of the palindrome. The word palindrome is derived from the Greek palin, which means back, and dromos, which means direction. The actual Greek phrase alluded to the backward movement of the crab. Palindromes dates back to about 70 AD, when they were first found. Okay, my network is fluctuating. So I was talking about the history of palindromes, and they first found palindromes as a graffito. Graffito is the singular of graffiti. Remember when we were talking about irregular plurals last week, I guess, and we had spaghetto, which is the singular of spaghetti. Today we find graffito, which is the singular of graffiti. Anyhow, palindromes were first found buried in ash at Herculaneum. It's an ancient city in South Italy, and then it was a popular resort during Roman times in South Central Italy, and it was completely destroyed by the eruption of Mount Vesuvius. So I think amongst the ash, they now found this graffiti or graffito. Graffito is the singular of graffiti. John Mukoro, glad to have you all. You're watching from Houston, Texas. We are talking palindromes today, and palindromes are words that read the same way forwards as they read backwards. And I've been giving examples. Some of those words are like Anna, civic, level, madam, refer, mom, dad. The way they are spelled forwards is the way they are spelled backwards. And then you also have multiple word formations, like, I have to make reference back to my book. This heat is doing me something sharp. Don't nod. Now, when you have multiple word formations, the way they are written forward might not necessarily be Paul is watching from Edinburgh. Okay, I haven't seen his name. Anyway, Paul, thank you for watching from Edinburgh. Okay, yeah. I understand Paul is a great musician, is watching from Edinburgh. Shout out to you, Paul. Thank you so much for joining our broadcast. And as you can see, I need you to send me some snow from Edinburgh, because it is not just hot in Lagos, it is humid. And as you can see, because I'm not able to draw the rope of the generator, I don't know, it's so difficult. I don't know why it suddenly became difficult and stiff. So that's why I am sweating, like we would say in Nigeria, like a Christmas goat. Anyhow, today we're talking palindromes, and palindromes are words which are spelled the same way forward as they are spelled the same way backward. And I gave you a short history about palindromes. It is derived from the Greek word palin, which means back, and dromos, which means direction. And that palindromos refers to the Greek phrase refers to the backward movement of a crab. And it was first found, a palindrome was first found in the 70 AD, and AD is another in the year of Christ. And it was found as a graffito. Graffito is the singular form of graffiti, and it was buried in ash after the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in south central Italy. So that's what we've been talking about. Now, as I'm sweating profusely, I also have my word of the day, and it fell down. Our word for the day is a mythoclast. Mythoclast. M-Y-T-H-Y. Mythoclast. M-Y-T-H-O-C-L-A-S-T. That is a mythoclast. That's our word for the day. A mythoclast. Can you see it? M-Y-T-H-O-C-L-A-S-T. And a mythoclast is someone who destroys or debunks myths. So you have a myth. You know that you have a myth. We have so many myths in Nigeria. I don't know whether I cannot remember one offhand now, but I know there's a program on television called, I think they call them Mythbusters. You have a myth that's okay. No, I think there was one I watched, but that one I think it was true, because they say elephants are afraid of mice, and from what they did, they couldn't bust that. That myth wasn't busted because elephants actually were scared of mice. But anyone who can bust a myth, any myth, is called a mythoclast. You know, there's so many myths. I think there's one myth here that's from my area, that you should not whistle in the night. When you whistle in the night, whether you invite spirits, I don't know, but I don't know whether anybody has been able to debunk that myth. But if anyone comes forward now and debunks that myth, that if you whistle at night in the Soko area and spirits don't come, then that person can be referred to as a mythoclast. Now, do you have any myths from your areas that you wish somebody would debunk? All right, now I have my quote of the day. My quote of the day, to remind you to believe in yourself, is written by C.S. Lewis. C.S. Lewis is called Clive Staples, born November 1898 and died November 1963. He was a British novelist, poet, academic, medievalist, literary critic, broadcaster, lecturer, and he was famous for writing The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I love watching The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and the Chronicles of Narnia, and they were written by C.S. Lewis. Now, he has this saying, and it is to remind you to believe in yourself. You are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream. So many people think, oh, because I'm already, some people, they even start getting older at the age 40. 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Okay, don't sweep at night. Don't sweep at night is one myth. They say you shouldn't sweep at night. If you sweep at night, it means you are sweeping away all your money, Abi. That one is from the Soko area. Sheila, shout out to you. Good to have you on our broadcast today. Sheila is watching from somewhere. I don't know whether you're still watching from Lagos, or whether you're watching from France or Dubai. Wherever you're watching from, good to have you on the show. Now, I was reading a quote to remind you to believe in yourself. And the quote is written by C.S. Lewis, who was a great novelist, was a British novelist, poet. He was born in November 1898 and died in November 1963. Anyway, he is famous for writing The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and which has been turned into films now. And I love watching the Chronicles of Narnia. They were written by C.S. Lewis, and he has this quote, which is to remind you to believe in yourself. It says, you are never too old to set another goal or to dream another dream. And that is why, good afternoon, or Olarewaju. Oh yeah, good afternoon, all the way from Glasgow. Today we've been talking about palindromes. And palindromes are words which, when spelled forwards, you want to spell them backwards, they spell the same way. And I gave examples like Anna, civic, level, madam, refer. Hello, can you remind me some of them? Because if you spell like A-double-N-A, you want to spell it backwards, it's spelled the same way, and these are called palindromes. And then Judith, watching from Ontario, Canada, gave a palindrome, essay. Essay is it's an Orobo name. E-S-E, if you spell it backwards, it's E-S-E. Mom, You spell mom, M-O-M, spell it backwards is M-O-M. So we use palindromes in our everyday speech, but it's just for you to find them. And there are also multiple word formations, like I gave one, don't nod. Now in multiple word formations, for you to spell it backwards, you are allowed to put the punctuation where it's supposed to be or the space where it is supposed to be. So those are palindromes. And our word for the day is mythoclast. And mythoclast is anyone who can debunk a myth. Mythoclast, M-Y-T-H-O-C-L-A-S-T. And we're talking about myths which come from our different areas, which we're looking for people to debunk, and see. Like I just talked about one that they say you shouldn't whistle in the night. That's from my area. You shouldn't whistle in the night. And if you whistle in the night, you invite spirit. And then Elohim came up with one that you should not sweep at night. I know that when you say don't sweep at night, from my area, it means that if you sweep at night, it means you are sweeping. So even if the house is dirty and people have eaten and their rice grains, say no, don't sweep. Or if you sweep it, you sweep away your wealth. And we're waiting for someone to come and debunk that myth. And if anybody debunks that myth, person's a mythoclast. Now Eloho has come up with some palindromes. She says sis, and that's correct. S-I-S. If you spell it the other way, it is S-I-S. She also has none. N-U-N. If you spell it backwards, it's N-U-N. Like noon, N-O-O-N. You spell it backwards, it's the same way. Nan, the same thing too. Nan, N-A-N-A. You spell it the same way and it's backward. And then you can also have multiple word formations. And then I also gave us our quote for the day, which is to remind you to believe in yourself. You are never too old to set another goal or to dream on a new dream. And I think I like that very much. I'm believing myself, and that's why at age 60 I've decided that okay, I'm going to start this program, and there are many other programs. I've also written a book, and it's not just going to be one book, it's going to be a series of books. You must not buy red oil at night. Sheila, that one, I think that one must be from you. Those are myths. But we need someone to come and debunk that myth. And if anyone is able to debunk that myth, that person becomes a mythoclast. So today we've talked about palindromes, which are words which are spelled the same way forwards as they're spelled the same way backwards. And George, that is why I was saying, do you speak forwards and backwards at the same time? Actually you do, because when you talk about refer, you want to spell refer, spell it backwards, it is spelled the same way. And there are a host of words. I'm failing which you can also Google the word palindrome and then read more about palindrome. None, that's true. Olarin Owaju from Glasgow has given the word none, N-O-N. Thank you so much. Joe Gibbs says, great work, keep it up, including the sweat. Thank you so much for bearing with me as I have been mopping my face dry. I have used up so much of this, what do they call this, face Kleenex tissues. I've used up more than half of the pack, but that's okay. And I've also given you a quote to remind you to believe in yourself, that no matter what people say, you have to believe in yourself. Because some people have a dream and then they make the mistake of sharing it with others, but because other people do not believe in their own selves and do not think, they tend to try to want to pull down that person and the person's dream. So C.S. Lewis says, you are never too old to set another goal or to dream another dream. And remember, C.S. Lewis is famous for The Lion, the Wardrobe, The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, and then the Narnia Chronicles. I love watching the Narnia Chronicles, and I think I used to love reading the books too. So you are never too old to set another goal or to dream another dream. And we've talked about our word for the day, the mythoclast. A mythoclast is one who debunks myths. If you debunk myths, then of course you are a mythoclast. And we've been talking about myths that come from our different areas from the country, and we're looking for people who will come and debunk the myth. One of the myths is that if you whistle at night, spirits will come. Another one is that do not sweep your house at night, no matter how dirty. After people have eaten, leave the rice grains there, because if you sweep it, you are sweeping away the wealth. And then Sheila has said you must not buy red oil at night. What is it about this night that everybody is scared about? Night. You should not do everything at night. Anyway, we're looking for people who will come and debunk those myths. And once they debunk those myths, then they become mythoclast. Anyway, It's been nice having you on the show today. Shout out to everyone who tuned in from Edinburgh, Eloho and Paul, from Glasgow, Lanrewaju from France, Oluwafunto from Ontario, Judith from Houston, Texas, John Mukoro, Jan Wadia is just coming on. Yes, Auntie May. Hello, Jan. I'm signing off now. From Abuja, George Adebisi. From Lagos, Joe Jesimir, Pastor Joe, alias Joe Gibbs. Please, if I didn't mention your name now, you are watching, can you just click again because I cannot scroll back upwards. Thank you so much for joining our broadcast today. We've been talking about palindromes. And palindromes are words which, when you spell them, the way they are spelled forward, if you spell them backwards, they also mean the same thing. We've talked about our word of the day, which is a mythoclast. A mythoclast is one who debunks myths, and we're talking about myths from our different parts of the country. We're looking for people to come and debunk those myths. One of the myths is like, you shouldn't sweep your house in the night, no matter how dirty. That is, if guests come and they mess up the place, leave it like that. So whether cockroaches, rats, and anything come, leave it like that. Because if you sweep, I know that if you sweep that one away, you're sweeping away your wealth. So we need someone to come and debunk those myths. Anyway, it's been a great time. As hot as it has been, I am sweating. And I have been offered some snow from Edinburgh and Glasgow, and possibly some from Canada. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Sorry, Jan, I think we're tuning off now. If you missed this broadcast or you're just tuning in, you can go to my YouTube channel and you'll see it and other broadcasts, or you can just watch this one on my story for the day. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Let's make it another day tomorrow. Oluwafunto Onuwade is yes, Oluwafunto, yes, you're watching from France. And Lekon is watching from Lekon Onilede is watching from Abuja. I call him Lekuku. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in today. It's been a hot day, temperature hot. Thank you so much for tuning in and bearing with me, even as I mop my very wet face. Thank you so much. We'll do it again the same time tomorrow. Thank you very much. I hope I do, Judy. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I hope I get a respite. It's just because I couldn't pull the generator. For some strange reason, the rope got stuck, and that's why I couldn't pull the generator. Thank you so much for everybody for watching. Thank you for giving me the encouragement. Thank you for being a part of my dream and being a part of my success story. Thank you, everyone. Do have a pleasant rest of the day for the Nigerians, and for those of you out, Judith, your day is just starting. John Mukoro, your day is just starting. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. Okie dokie. Bye.